I wish that I had known about reading eggs years ago. Our family has gone through lots of hardship. Having two kids that are severely dyslexic has posed a lot of challenges. Being the mom in the family, you give and you give and you give, and you always are putting yourself last. My kids have had to learn a lot by watching me walk through trauma or grief. It does put a strain on what education's happening. I wish that I had known there was an option that was actually affordable and doable for my little kids in those times. When my son was 3, we found out he was non-hearing. He was behind on all things language. When it was time to learn to read, we found out he was dyslexic. You find yourself in a corner where you feel like I'm going to have to figure out what to do. Either they're going to get help or they're just going to struggle through life. We took out a second mortgage on our house and we put him in a program, and it got him from like less than a 4-year-old reading level to a 3rd grade reading level. When Callie came along and she was doing the same things, we realized, okay, she's severely dyslexic. So I'm like, what do? We don't have the money to do that again. No matter how many sight words or curriculums we did, she couldn't do the cat sat on the mat. And just realizing like we're back where we were with my son. Around Christmas time, she was crying like, I'm never gonna read, I'm never gonna read. When you're in charge of your kids' education, it's not just the stigma that they can't read and that they feel out of place, but then you as the parent, it's like everybody's looking at you. They have no idea how hard you're trying to teach your kids to read. I was like, let's try reading eggs. I had seen the app on the computer. I set her up a profile and she got started doing it. She was just doing it on her own for 10 or 15 minutes a day, and probably February, she just picked up like her children's Bible and started reading it like chapters at a time. And I'm like, wait a minute, how is this little game helping her read? Because I know what we just paid for my son a few years ago. Like, there's no way this little program has that built into it. For dyslexic kids, it's hard for them to tell B's and D's and P's and Q's, they all look the same. In reading eggs, there's squares around letters. It frames it so they can see and they can put those things together and they start getting it. I'm really grateful for reading eggs. I would recommend it for the mom that feels like it's too much and she's failing, because you can have help and it doesn't have to all be on you. You get to teach your kids that they can walk through really difficult things and keep going with it, and they don't have to give up. I see her now reading everything from the tags on her stuffed animals to billboards going down the road. At her birthday party this year, she could read all the cards herself. For me, that was a really big deal because I knew it was a big deal for her. It's given her freedom to be able to do everything. I feel like she's finally on her way.
I can read all by myself because of reading eggs.